Driving Gloves. We're a combination of gearheads. John, the instigator. Derek, the conservative. Will, the builder. Sean, the racer. And maybe a guest. Invite you to listen while they sit down, have a drink, and discuss cars. Learn more and subscribe to the podcast with No Driving Gloves. Time now for the ride. Okay, we're giving it a try tonight. We got a new intro graphics. Same old intro song.
That was pretty fancy.
A year ago. Oh, and we've got the, I guess, the original Three Musketeers here. Little bit late. I apologize. My fault. Have to take care of the little woman and say happy birthday to her. So
Unacceptable.
Yeah, unacceptable. I'm sorry. I know it's not a car thing, but she lets me do this. So we saw what happened with the old woman who that I didn't make her happy.
Well, you was doing this before her, right?
Yep.
That's what I told Tammy. I was messing with cars before I was messing with you.
Yeah, I guess you were. I don't know. I can't remember how far you guys go back, but I don't want to get into that with you and get you into trouble.
This is no longer a family show.
I had already graduated McPherson before me and her had ever met. So.
Oh, so we can talk about all your escapades at McPherson.
Sure. maybe not.
Not like she watches the show or listens.
You're exactly right. She's asleep right now.
Yeah. You know, somebody might watch it and say, hey, do you know what Will said he did?
Oh, boy, digging up bones. I don't think we want to go there.
No, geez, maybe starting at this time's great. We've seemed to have a ton of viewers right now.
What did Will do to the exhaust pipe? What?
I would probably get canceled if.
No, it's been discussed quite heavily. You know, that JRE dude out there that's in trouble, and you know he took $100,000 and he's $100 million, and he's finding out why he shouldn't have. He can get canceled because he's on a platform supported by sponsors. We're independent. We can do whatever we want, and we're also on the Podcasting 2.0 platform, which supposedly we can never get thrown off of, no matter what we say or what we do. And, you know, we can have Alex Jones on as a guest. So, but that's enough of that. Does anybody want to touch on anything personal, or should we jump right into the topic and hit the personal stuff towards the end of the show? I know.
Wow. This is, I mean, we're really going for it, right? Touching personal things, hitting personal things. I mean, this is no longer the No Driving Gloves it was before.
Yeah. Should we all pan down to prove that we're not touching certain things?
This is like the 6 o'clock news. Do I have pants on or do I not have pants on? Schrodinger's pants. That's what it is.
Don't stand up, Derek. Do not stand up.
No. So
do you have a topic for us tonight, John? Or
yeah, and I'm kind of blocking it, but that's the way my backgrounds work. If you want to see the real background, you know, check out some of the graphics from the show. But there's a lot of articles over the last few days from General Motors and Ford discussing market adjustments. My head's in the way here, but this, I always get this screwed up. This one right here. That's a Audi RS6 that has a $50,000 market adjustment. The other sticker that's here is an old Hellcat addendum having a $150,000 markup, making it like a $212,000 Hellcat. I think it was actually a wide body, whatever. But it seems Ford's having a problem with that. General Motors has had a problem with that. Ferrari, every manufacturer has had a problem with that. And I'm just setting the background here. And yes, we're all aware the dealer or the manufacturer cannot tell the dealer what to sell the car for. They can suggest. That's why it's MSRP, manufacturer suggested retail price. Dealer can, is under no legal obligation to follow that suggested price. Now, and that's what the dealers say. We can charge whatever we want, and the manufacturer can't tell us. And the dealer's right. Well, what Ford has done and what General Motors has done, and General Motors came out and said dealers charging excessive market adjustments on their Z06s may not get an allocation of Z06s to deliver to these people that they've charged too much. Ford has come out, and this is from the CEOs of both companies. Ford has come out and told their dealers that we need to cut this out, especially going towards the new Ford Lightning F-150, because some of these dealers are charging $10,000 and $20,000 market adjustment to allow you to place an order. And Ford's argument is, we're building this truck, we're putting it out, we're going into a new market segment, electric vehicles, and we're going up against Rivian, and we're going up against Tesla that doesn't have a dealer or have a dealer network. Hence, they don't have these dealer markups. If Tesla says the Cybertruck is $75,000, made up number, hell, Cybertruck's probably made up. It's $75,000.
One of them's real. It just doesn't have windows.
Whatever Rivian's charging for a Rivian pickup, everybody's paying the same. There are no dealer markups. If Rivian decides, oh, wait, we've got too many orders, they might take that truck from 70 grand to 80 grand themselves, but then everybody's paying 80. It makes no difference. And Ford's saying, we can't have this. We need to be able to state a price, because the people buying electric vehicles right now expect that. And, you know, I asked the question on the Facebook page, and I'll be honest, I'm kind of guilty of it. That, you know, what are people's opinions? And somebody did post that they just paid a market adjustment to get their new vehicle. And I asked him, you know, why? And he pointed out that he paid, it's on the Facebook page. They had a $3,000 market adjustment. He paid $2,000. He talked him down to $2,000, paid that much. And it's on a Ford Maverick. And he has a Ford Maverick on order, which when he ordered it, they told him 3 to 4 months. And I kind of told him when he did that, lots of luck, because they haven't even let me order the ones that I have on order. And now he's being told December. So he went out, found one, paid the market adjustment based on the facts that Carvana has a Ford Ranger on their site, base 2-wheel drive model, EcoBoost, $29,000 sticker price, new. It's used on Carvana for $39,000, and it's pending sale. Carvana doesn't negotiate. So somebody's paying 10 grand over sticker for a used Maverick. And he goes, well, I can pay 2 over sticker for a new Maverick. And well, I guess that's okay. And why I say I'm kind of guilty of it is, well, I have my $200 deposits on Mavericks, and I haven't ordered the trucks yet. But I did that assuming I'm going to be able to flip those contracts, you know, hopefully for $1,000 or $1,500 a piece when the dealer's ready to place those orders, just so that they have allocation. That's why Ford did that. The orders on the Mavericks is $100. You get to order it, spec it, whatever. And when I did my reservations, they said, we don't care if you ever get the truck. We just have to have names on them. We have to have names, and we have to have bank accounts that aren't tied to us to get the allocations. And then if you order the truck and you say, no, we're not charging you or anything, you can just give it up. Well, I'm banking I can get a couple of bucks out of it eventually. So that's the long story, how we get here. Do you guys have thoughts or opinions, as much as you can state, on this?
Here's how I look at it. If I go out and buy a bunch of Holley products, I got them sitting on the shelf. Holley don't have them. You can't get them off Holley's website right now. Yeah, I'm going to mark it up. I'm going to make some money. And, you know, and I don't blame the dealerships for that. If somebody is so impatient that they're willing to pay $30,000 more than to wait 6 months, okay, I would take the 30 grand. I don't blame them at all. I would be doing the same thing if I owned a dealership right now. So they've paid their dues. They've done what they've had to do to become dealers. Just like I have here at Big Oak Garage. I'm a dealer for a lot of different companies. No, I'm not a dealer for Ford or Chevy or Dodge or anything like that, but it's just a smaller scale. And, I think it is a little excessive marking something up $50,000-$60,000 and doubling the price on it? Yeah, absolutely. But if I was in their shoes and people are willing to pay it, I'm doing the same thing. So, I mean, I that may sound greedy, may sound like I'm an asshole, but at the end of the day, it's all about making money. And if they've done what they've done in the past to keep their dealership and to sell cars and to have them sitting on the lot, hey, mark them up, make your money when you can. Because what's it going to be like 3 years from now? They may be loaded and can't even sell nothing. So that's my opinion on it.
Well, I mean, welcome to capitalism, right?
There you
Supply
go.
and demand. The supply's low, the demand's high, prices are going to go up. But on the flip side too, there's also the there's nothing out there that says the manufacturer can't punish them. The manufacturer can say, hey, if you want to do it, guess what? We're not giving you any. It's so in the end, the dealership has the right to do it. I mean, there's nothing in their contracts, as you've already said, John. MSRP is suggested retail price. Doesn't mean you have to stick to it. Most of them always bump it up a little bit above MSRP, and we're in a unique situation in the auto industry right now that is leading to this. The chip shortages, the pandemic has not helped overall with jobs, things like that. And if I think it's what Will said, if people are, I'll apologize ahead of time. Sorry if I offend anyone. If people are dumb enough to go out and pay these ridiculous markups. Now, granted, a couple grand, you're probably going to be okay in the long run, but 50, 100,000 over, if you're that anxious to get the car and you're going to do that, that's your own. I mean, that's on you, man. That is not the dealership's fault, because here's the thing. If no one went in and bought that and put a down payment on that allotment for a new Maverick or a new Z06 or anything, guess what would stop? Ridiculous markups. Because everybody would be going, you know what? Screw you. I'm not doing that. And they'd go, okay, well, we're not going to sell cars doing that. So back it up and put them at MSRP. So it comes down to, basic capitalism. Supply, demand, and what people are willing to shell out. And it's rampant in the car market, from new cars to used cars to classic cars. Barrett Jackson auction was ridiculous, the prices that were going on there for the quality of some of those cars. It is across the board. The bubble is too high and it's going to burst. Throughout the market, throughout the car, the classic car world, this bubble is too high. It's going to burst. It has to.
Okay, let's take the pandemic out of it. Let's take this anomaly that we've had the last 18 to 24 months with the car market out of this. Ford a couple of years ago with the GT second generation of the new Ford GT, whatever, the 2019 Ford GTs. Ford really mandated that they, when you bought them, you could not resell them for 2 years to help market speculation. They warned the dealers that if they found out you were marking up over sticker, you would lose your allocation, period. No, nothing. So is it wrong? We think we're all in agreement that capitalism says, yeah, we can mark up to whatever the consumer is willing to pay. And if the consumer is not willing to pay it, we can come down a little bit. But is it wrong for the manufacturers to say, hey, we've had a team of accountants look at the numbers and beat the numbers and research everything, and we feel this is the competitive price where everybody can make enough money to survive? Is it wrong? My question right now is going to be, is it wrong for the manufacturers to try to enforce that suggested retail price? Like if, Holly said to Will, okay, you're doing this, but you get no more, 4-barrel double pumper, 750 CFM carburetors for, 3 years. Is it worth making the extra money? Yeah.
Well, so wait, is it worth making the extra money? Because weren't you also asking if it's right for the manufacturer to do that? You kind of changed midstream there.
Well, I
want to make sure
we
have the discussion.
Yeah. Okay. Is it right for the manufacturer to try to blackmail you into keeping the?
It's not blackmail though. Now, okay, I'm not a dealership owner. I'm not a licensed dealer like Will is of parts, but you sign an agreement with that manufacturer. There's probably language in there that's going to screw you in the end. They're able to do, they know what they can do in their agreement, and they're going to come to you and say, we're going to take your allocations away if you try something. And it's probably, again, I'm not a dealer. I haven't ever signed one of those. I've never read one of those contracts, but it's probably in the contracts that, that manufacturer has the right to do certain things. And Will, you can probably speak to it, because I'm betting you if you did something that one of your the people you represent and sell stuff for, there's something in there that they're going to take stuff away from you.
Oh yeah, they could yank it from you. The biggest thing is selling it too cheap. If they see you advertising, I'm going to use Vintage Air for an example. They have MAP pricing, so you can't really advertise their products really less than retail. So, there are special occasion things where, Black Friday 10% off or free shipping, stuff like that. But if you're selling it too cheap, then you're going to get a phone call, and I've never heard of anything getting in trouble for selling it too high. But I've actually been close to, I got in trouble one time about it, and selling it to a friend ran their mouth to the wrong person. That person went back to the manufacturer, and, I got in trouble. So guess what? The deals went out the door. Sorry. So it's not worth me selling it to one of my buddies at a discounted rate, at my cost or whatever, and then I lose my dealership. Well, that's what, ultimately pays Chris to sit here and do payroll and order parts and all that stuff. So, yeah, you got to be careful.
I don't know if I got an answer to my question. Got to be careful, say Apple has the same thing, I know, in the computer industry, that basically what they say an iPhone costs or a MacBook costs or whatever, that's what you have. You cannot charge below that price. I don't think anybody really ever charges above that price. And that's why when an Apple product goes on sale at Target, it's also on sale at Best Buy, Walmart, the Apple Store, just about anywhere. They're controlling the prices that way. I alluded to the Ford GT, and the way dealers got around that one is all of a sudden there were these embroidered Ford GT coats at the dealerships that were $100,000. You bought a coat, you could order a car. Is that okay?
Well, it's like the old saying in NASCAR. It's not what's in the rule book. It's what's not in the rule book.
That's a fact. That's a fact. I mean,
I like that.
I would be jacking it up if I had something sitting here that people wanted. Damn right, I'd be just jacking it up.
So what was the second part of that question, John? Because now I'm not remembering. So we went off on the dealer, the manufacturer portion of it. I'm trying to remember what the other part was.
I can't quite remember exactly what the other part was, but if we go and say, the dealer has come up and, like I said, did all of that research and paid people to come up with this competitive price that they feel everybody's getting a fair shake. I mean, let's just, I'm trying to think of just making off the wall. Well, we'll go ahead and we'll play off the show American Auto, which at some point we probably should talk about. The car company represented there's Payne Automobiles, and say the Payne XYZ is all of a sudden in high demand, and dealers are getting $100,000 over sticker, and say that Payne selling, sticker price is 100 and dealers are getting 200 for it. If all of a sudden cars start showing up at the dealer with a new window sticker at $200,000, and Payne comes to the dealer and says, well, we were selling them to you for 50. Now we're going to sell them to you for 100 so that you can, is it okay for the manufacturer to finally say, well, if everybody's taking some money, it's okay for us to come back and charge you more and take more money?
Yeah, if they go up, they go up. It's the price you're paying anyway. I mean, I wouldn't be happy about it, but I'm not sitting.
I mean,
there.
I don't know, right? And I don't know all the federal. There's a ton of federal regulations that are behind a lot of this too. But I mean, just basic capitalism and the basic market that we live in, it's perfectly acceptable. Now, what the regulatory federal regulatory groups would do, who knows? But I mean, just at a base swipe through of it, then yeah, I mean, and is it I guess my question would be, is it the manufacturer's responsibility to quelch the issue, or is it the consumer's responsibility to quelch the issue? Who's ultimately responsible for the market adjustment?
See, I've always been good with the market adjustment. I mean, some of them 150 grand on a Hellcat's to me ridiculous, but if somebody's going to pay 150 grand, they're happy with, okay, I've got an extra 150 grand, that I'm not ever going to do anything with. It doesn't matter a hill of beans to me. Like I say, expense is proportionate to income. And, Bezos is dismantling a bridge because his yacht's too tall and doesn't want them to put the masts on after they floated under the bridge. He would rather have the thing assembled at port and then disassemble a historic bridge. And people are up in arms, and I'm sure that's a couple $1 million, but again, to Bezos, that's like us ordering a pizza. It's the expense, so I've always been good with it, but I think Ford is making a good point, is that, hey, if we want to be competitive in this new world of potentially no dealerships or direct to consumer selling, which technically in a lot of states is illegal. I mean, there's a reason there are no Tesla dealerships in Alabama, is because Alabama strictly prohibits direct sales. Ironically, Texas prohibits direct sales. Tesla can't sell a Tesla in Texas because you can only buy a Tesla from Tesla. And that's illegal in Texas. And now they've relocated their headquarters there and they're building a factory there. Or they just built a factory there. But Ford's saying, hey, if Tesla tells you this vehicle is going to be this much money and it's in huge demand, which ironically every Tesla vehicle is, or Rivian, everything's in huge demand. I mean, Rivian sold out for, a couple of years of their production, as is Ford. But if Rivian's website says a Rivian's 75 grand, if Tesla's website says the car's 50 grand, it's 50 grand. Mm-hmm. Ford's website says a Lightning, so let's say a base price Lightning, I think is just under 50,000. So we'll say 50,000. And I go into a dealership expecting to pay that. And all of a sudden they go, well, no, we want a $25,000 markup. Now it's $75,000. Now I'm going to go, do I want the Ford or do I want the Riven? You know, Ford's priced that truck to be there so that it's competitive against the competition and they can kind of undersell the competition. But now the dealers are putting it, now people can make a choice, 75 here or 75 there. And I think that's where I kind of agree with Ford is, they're looking at the future and they're looking at protecting a market that they're trying to develop. And if they don't develop this market and protect this market, they're going to lose with customer dissatisfaction overall.
So how can you agree with Ford on them putting their foot down when all they got to do is man up and produce more? So then they're there, and then they're not getting, the dealers aren't gouging. If they're sitting on the lot, they're going to be selling them for what's on the sticker.
Ford originally stated production of the 2000, I think 22 or 23, whatever year is going to be first year production of the Lightning would be 50,000 units. And the response was so great, it quickly became, we're going to build 85,000 units. Now Ford's saying, provided they can get all the chips and components, they're going to build 150,000 units the first year of the Ford Lightning. So Ford's trying to step up and meet consumer demand.
It still goes back to Ford because they don't have their crap lined up ready to do it. They don't have the chips and they don't have all this stuff. Why are they doing that? That's so frustrating. We're going to show you this. We're going to sell you this. But you know what? You can't have it because we don't have all of our ducks in a row yet. Man, it's bullshit.
So Will's totally.
How do you really feel about it, Will?
Yeah, I think Will's totally about let's mark it up and take every dime out of the customer as possible.
At the end of the day, it's all the manufacturer's fault. If they would produce more or have it out when they say they're going to have it out and all this other stuff, nobody would be marking them up because everybody would have the one that they've already ordered, like the new Broncos. I mean, I've got buddies that's had them on ordered since the day you could order one, and they still don't have them. It's Ford's fault, period.
Oh, what manufacturer was I going to throw out there? Dang, I had a perfect example, and now I forgot. Somebody else, and I wasn't going to be for that. Oh, Porsche.
Volkswagen. Oh, I was close.
Yeah, well, actually, I guess Volkswagen does own Porsche now, according to the most recent family tree. Porsche is the master of, selling options, taking something out of a car, making a special edition, taking something out of a car, and then selling it back to you on that special edition for more money, and, I can't remember what I heard the number was out of the last generation, the 911, 992.1. I think they had 38 different versions when it was all said and done between Targa, GTS, Carrera, Carrera 4, Carrera 2S, Carrera S, GT2, GT3, GT3 RS, etc. Turbo, Turbo S, Cabriolet, Turbo, whatever. And some of those are just production cars. And, I don't think I've ever really seen a Porsche Turbo above sticker. I guarantee you I've never really seen a Carrera because they're going to build as many as they can sell, and Porsche can do that. But Porsche does cater to the dealer markup by, let's say, the GT2 RS. Their statement is we're going to build either X number of cars, or we're definitely going to build 2 fewer than people want. If we have 100 orders, we're going to build 98 of them. Absolutely. So Porsche is embracing that. And guess what? It seems to work.
and John, you're right. They're all doing it. Tesla, GM, they're all doing it. They're all talking about what's coming up and taking orders, and nobody's getting them.
Yeah, I'm trying to avoid the Tesla conversation in this because I read a really good one about how Tesla is handling their chip shortage.
Nice job not avoiding it, John.
Yep. No, I'm not going to tell you why. You guys can look that up yourself.
You ain't got to worry about me looking it up because I don't give a shit.
That was an interesting conversation. I heard on another podcast where he was talking to one of the Tesla, primarily the Tesla designer, and that how people in the Midwest are not ready to embrace the electric automobile, but there's nothing they can do about it because it's coming and it's coming fast. So,
yeah, but it's coming fast, but it doesn't last as long as an internal combustion when it's going fast. Sorry, I had to get that in there.
It just peters out, don't it?
Yeah. It's really fast on takeoff and for like 200 miles. And then it just kind of.
If you don't charge it, I mean, my car will eventually stop moving after 400 miles if I don't put gas in it.
Yeah.
So. Come on, Derek. You had a great opportunity for another comeback. You're just like, yeah.
I like to let it sit. I like to let it sit for a minute. I like to let it sit for a minute, you know?
Man, yeah. Derek, that is so disappointing.
Yeah, it takes me. It only takes me like 5 minutes to charge my electric car. Yeah.
Oh Lord.
I'm confused on Derek's electric car. That's what happens. You get old, you forget things. I've been talking to somebody about that all day.
And it's too late at night for a bunch of old guys.
Oh, it's not too late at night. I got things to do after the show. I'm sure Will does too. He's at the shop, it looks like.
I'm going home and going to bed. I was in bed at 9:30 last night. I'm tired. I'm tired.
He didn't say he was sleeping.
When was the first night you got to sleep in your own bed, Will? You've been like traveling for 2.5 weeks.
Yeah, it was. I did drive back and forth to Birmingham for the World of Wheels. So, but I mean, it's not like I was getting a full night's rest. I mean, I would rather drive a little bit and sleep in my own bed because I hadn't been sleeping in my own bed very much here lately. So, yeah, but it was worth it.
Yeah, I was going to say to all of our listeners, Will was so kind in telling us in advance. It just kind of showed up on the Facebook page, the Big Oak Facebook page. Hey, I'm at World of Wheels and I'm unloading these 3 fabulous cars that, you know.
Yeah, it's kind of a spur of the moment thing. So,
yeah, spur of the moment. And then what do? Walk out of there with the best car of World of Wheels?
Oh, yeah, this right here.
Yeah.
There. First place, first overall.
Nice.
It's just a trophy.
No, it was $10,000 too.
That's kind of what I, World of Wheels, it seems, is the master of participation trophies. I think they've got most, preschool soccer clubs beat. Everybody gets,
nice pencil.
Gets a trophy at World of Wheels.
If you'd stop shaking it, might be able to read it.
It looks like a really long Duracell battery.
That looks like a bullwhip.
Sam Foose Memorial Design Award. Hey, did your buddy Chip give you that?
He did. Mm-hmm. We won the Sam Foose Memorial Design Award at Grand National Roadster Show with the Impala.
There you go.
I will cherish this for the rest of my life.
Something tells me that's probably in. I don't want to say that for you.
That looks like a bomb pop.
Were you going to say that he should put it right next?
No, I'm trying to think of exactly. I can't think of the word I want, but because of what happened with the green car and Chip, that probably feels pretty good to have the man come back and say, "Hey, you can build a fucking good car."
Yeah, it was pretty awesome.
See, I was going to ask Will if he was going to put it right next to his Riddler award. Oh, wait a second.
Careful, Will might have a new place to store that.
Come on, Derek. Come on in here.
And you wonder why I don't go to Will's shop anymore.
Yeah,
Well,
it's
he can use the pointy end or the eraser end.
Mm.
So yeah, from California back to Alabama, back-to-back weekend car shows.
And you had all the owners present in Birmingham, didn't you, of the three?
The owner of the Impala was not able to make it. So
That was Dirty Martini, right?
Yes.
yeah. So that kind of sucked. I mean, it was. I wish he could have been there. But
Well, he probably enjoyed getting that call Sunday night.
Oh yeah, he did. He was tickled to death. So it was pretty neat. And we're going to Oklahoma next weekend for the Daryl Starbird deal.
I was going to say, are you going to tell me that's Daryl Starbird? Obviously, you
Yeah.
are. Now that should be.
They invited us, so we figured we might go up there and see if we can't get a fine 9.
You just taking Dirty Martini, or are you going to take 2? Or
no, we're just taking Dirty Martini.
So, how was that car? Obviously, Chip liked it. How was that car received overall? So I'll be honest, Brandy was commenting on the pictures and that, and we're going to have to come up and see the car while it's still at your shop. She just loved the, the green and, the cream and the mixture and how everything flowed on that car. And that's out of photographs. That's at, low resolution Facebook photographs.
Right.
Did people like the colors that you chose, or because you weren't too sure about the green, were you?
No, I was pretty well. The main reason I didn't want to paint it green is because the dark was green. But that's the only reason. I love green. I think green has become one of my favorite colors. I would say it's been received better than I thought. I bet I've been asked 100 times through social media, how can I get that color? And it looks even better in person than it does the pictures. You can't see all the, all the metallic and the gold and all that stuff in it. So,
so is this the introduction of the new Will Posey paint line? Big Oak paints.
Big Oak paints.
How do I get that paint? It's $1,800 a gallon, and you let me know how many you want, and we'll get it shipped to you in the next 6 months.
That's right.
But the problem is,
and by the way, I am the dealer for Big Oak Garage paints, and I'm charging $5,200 a gallon.
Yeah, exactly. The supply is pretty low, so
that's how it works. So actually, that color will be available. I mean, everybody knows I use Axalta, so it will be available through Axalta. I'm not sure when, but I know it was put in the main computer at the lab in Pennsylvania as Dirty Martini. So somebody can look it up and find it right now. I don't know. Unfortunately, I don't have a mixing system, so therefore I don't have the database for colors, which, I don't paint enough to have a mixing system, but so that may be something somebody can look up. If you're an Axalta shop, type in Dirty Martini, see if it comes up. If it is, there's the paint code right there. If not, I'm not telling you.
Oh,
not yet. This time next year, yeah, I might share it with you.
Depends on how big your wallet is. He'll share it. He'll share it with you.
So yeah. Anyway,
John Leach says something about the glass really sets off the green. Also, Are we talking about the glass, the flush glass? Is that what he's referring to, or?
I think he's talking about the color of the glass. It's actually got a very, very slight green hue to it as well.
What was that? The register?
A lot of
Nice.
people have commented on the green glass.
Was that a conscious decision? It just seems weird, but I mean, we've talked on this show, about Boyd Coddington's statement that, if next year, what is it? The Grand National Roadster or whatever, the Riddler car, has engraved valve stems, I'm going to lose again. But is this, colored glass? Is that a norm in your industry, or is that something that's a kind of a new big oak idea?
I guess people don't really, I don't know, it just hadn't stuck out as much. Every car that's pretty well come out of Big Oak Garage has had green glass.
Oh.
Even the dark. I guess there's just so much of it in that Impala that it's just a little more visible. Plus with a white interior, so it's a lot brighter on the inside, and that green in that glass just kind of really comes through. So,
I'm seeing it now. Yeah.
Yeah, I've run green glass in pretty much every car that we've built. I just like the green glass. I mean, that's what they had back in the day. So
yeah. I'm being told by somebody in the studio audience that on the website that's referred to as roadster glass or something, or is that a?
Nope, probably wrong.
I'm not sure.
I think it's off your website if that's where.
I'm wrong then.
Yeah, maybe we're incorrect, but whatever. Because I was thinking, if you're doing that, the Cadillac, what if you did could you do a red tint to the glass?
Absolutely, you can do a really, really slight red tint. Getting it so the front and back windshield of the Impala is actually acrylic. So you kind of got to match your front and back glass with your side glass. So actually getting a slightly red tinted side glass is pretty difficult because it's actually made of glass. But you could get it made out of acrylic too. I'll be honest with you, I'm not a fan of anything but pretty much green glass in every hot rod. So I mean, I just I don't like clear glass. I think it looks cheap for some reason. I've just always been a fan of green glass, and I guess I get that from Neil Lee from Rods and Restos. He was the same way, and I feel that way about it, and so does he. So green glass is where it's at.
See, now I've always been one, because I hope, someday I'm probably gonna build myself some type of high boy. I kind of like the high boy look, and I've kind of always been one that likes the blue tint that they run on the dry lakes and on the
I agree
salt
with
flats. And I've always wanted to do blue glass in a traditional hot rod.
Yeah, no, I like that blue. And I like the yellow, that they run in some of the gassers back in the day. So no, I'm with you on that, 100%. If it's a traditional styled build, you can kind of go a little crazy with the blue and the green and the yellow and the red and stuff like that they used to do back in the day in the gassers and dry lakes and Bonneville cars and stuff like that.
And remember, when you see a car from the 20s that's all original and it looks like it has yellow glass, it doesn't. It was actually clear originally.
That's the laminations in it, just coloring over the years.
It's the nitrocellulose lamination discoloring from UV damage, just like nitrocellulose film.
Derek's using big words as we're recording 10:15 at night.
Yes. It just annoys me when people look at a car and people that should know better, and they're like, "Oh, I didn't know they had tinted glass back then." Like, no, they They didn't, people. Come on.
All you had to do is take it over to West Coast Customs and they'd knock it out for you, right? What is it? Brian Freelinghaus back tinted cars back in the teens.
Exactly. Well, I mean, Earl Automobile Works was doing some cool stuff, Harley and his dad, but no tinting of windows. At least not that I know of. Now I got to go research that. Dang it. All right.
Another thing for Derek's to-do list.
Heck yeah, it's getting longer by the day.
That's what she
said. Ooh, Brandy. So seeing we switch to Will's, talking about old cars rather than new car markups. Seriously, what are you guys thinking about? I mean, we just saw Barrett Jackson happen. What do you think about this giant bubble that we're in the collector car world? I know Will's happy because all his customers will shell out, any money to have a car built at Big Oak that they can go out and sell. But
I drove by Will's place the other day and there was a dump truck just dumping Bitcoin in his driveway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I wish.
Well, that's just because Bitcoin lost $1 trillion in like one day. So it's just, paperweight now.
Now, let me just say to all the poor listeners out there that joined Sean and me for last week's show, I guess we're going to rehash it a little bit here. See, Derek should have listened to last week's show. I actually, Sean and I kind of went through, and I mean, it was just more like, ooh, this is a cool car. What did it sell for? Wait, that wasn't that ridiculous of a price. Ooh, that was a cool. I didn't find the numbers on a majority of the cars that ridiculous. I actually saw a couple that I thought were extremely low. Like there was a 37 Cord 812 Roadster that sold in the 180s. And then to make it look even cheaper is a different auction sold a 37 Cord 812 Westchester sedan for $228 or something.
That's a Westchester sedan. Nobody wants those.
But it sold for more than the Roadster.
Right. But there you go. There's it's ridiculous.
So
maybe the Roadster was a good deal, but the other thing is, I was out in Scottsdale. I didn't make it to Barrett Jackson. I was going to and had some other things come up and I couldn't get over there. But the folks I was with that went, the group I was with, a couple of them went over, and the reports I got back was, maybe on TV it's looking like they're reasonable prices, but the condition of some of the cars that went through and what was being hidden underneath them was shocking. It was the reports I was getting.
So the prices were competitive, but the quality was frankly crap.
Right. So the quality of the car that was going through should not have been bringing that money. It might have looked good on TV, but I guess in person, again, I didn't make it over, but a couple of guys I know that I trust and know their stuff said that some of those cars should have been half the price.
I'm going to flip something here, because this was the background we used last week. That's a 1990 Dodge Colt that was at Barrett Jackson. I don't know which day it sold. And of course, Barrett Jackson's no reserve, so 100% sell through. Now, I owned a 91 Eagle Summit, which was basically this exact same car in a light blue. Do you know what this car sold for at Barrett Jackson?
Nope.
90 Dodge Colt. You want to take a guess?
$8,500.
Not quite. A little bit high.
6,500.
See, this one was $3,500. Seemed like a reasonable number to me.
It's a 1990 Dodge Colt.
If you were into 1990.
I'm not talking about 1990 Dodge Colts. There are sectors of the collector car market that are weak right now. Okay, even
Can
I
you
will
say that
even
into the
say
microphone?
I will even say that brass era stuff is more affordable right now than it really should be. But there are
Brandy had a great comment. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Derek, but
That car is crap.
Yeah, I can't believe
exactly.
somebody paid $3,500 for it.
so,
I
I mean,
mean,
it's
but you know, hey,
It was
you know
that
what,
was
John?
Will.
You know
That was
what,
the
John?
chandelier in the
With-
tent. That was the
with-
chandelier in the tent that spent that.
With your head right there, it kind of looks like a CRX.
Yeah, it kind of does. Did you buy it?
well, I was going to say, if I had the money, I wouldn't necessarily be against buying that car for $3,500.
Of course you
But
wouldn't,
the
'cause you
only
like
reason
gang
would
stuff.
be is because I had that Eagle Summit. It would be an emotional attachment. And what's the odds of finding a freaking Eagle Summit?
Well, but here's the thing: $3,500 for that looked like a fairly low mileage, clean car. $3,500 for a daily driver to instead of flying home to jump in and drive home. Heck, I would have spent that.
Well, like I said,
mean,
a guy who
woo,
did a
3,500
Saturday
bucks,
purchase
hey.
at Barrett Jackson could probably buy that with the reward dollars on his credit card. But
Mhm.
but
I'd like to know the guy that brought it. Because
I would like to know the guy at Barrett Jackson that approved it.
he probably had more than $3,500 getting it there.
More than likely, the guy lived in Scottsdale and drove it from his house.
I was going to say, unless he lives in Scottsdale and he used any of the major carriers to get it there, he lost a lot of money.
Yeah, he did.
It was one of the major carrier truck drivers.
Yeah, it was actually an accident. It was his daily car for that he keeps in the truck for when he's places, and they just unloaded it and put it through.
Well, I don't know how many of you seen these reliable trucks that would actually fit in the sleeper of some of those.
Mhm.
That's a whole nother thing I guess we could talk about is, Jesus Christ, what do they have? 120-inch sleepers on these things?
Oh,
Whole nother world.
Yeah, those reliable trucks they're set
So
up,
now
man.
we're into the free state here. We did talk auctions a little bit. I like your insight of the quality of the cars not being there, but what else we want to talk about? We got 8 more minutes. It's a podcast.
Ooh.
We have to go 60 minutes and we can't go a minute. I don't know the people that put a time limit on their podcasts. We could go 4 hours if we want to. We could go 33 seconds if we wanted to.
Exactly.
And I guarantee you there's a couple of listeners out there go, why the frick didn't they shut up at 33 seconds?
Yeah, or 33 minutes or 3 minutes and 33 seconds.
A lot of threes.
Well, threes are lucky, right?
Hmm.
No?
Not
I
if
guess
you're
so.
Not if you're Dale Earnhardt.
Too soon? No, probably
No,
not.
I don't think so.
No.
It's 20 years.
Kevin Harvick, probably liked his threes.
Yeah.
It's hard to believe it's been a whole generation of racers since Dale Earnhardt. Because hell,
Sure.
Harvick's retired. All those guys that came after Earnhardt have retired.
Well, yeah.
Did y'all watch
20
any of the
years,
race?
man.
Did y'all watch any of the race at the LA Coliseum?
Nope.
It looked like there wasn't anybody there.
Is that the one that had all? I think Tony Watley put a picture up of all the cardboard cutouts there.
Oh, was it cardboard cutouts?
Well, that's what NASCAR does now is they fill the seats with cardboard cutouts. He was making a comparison to fake Instagram.
Yeah, they
followers,
were right. They space it out with fake people for the COVID restrictions and all that.
There's no. I was in LA the weekend before. Trust me, it is wide open. Yes,
Yeah.
they've got stuff in place, but there was not a slowdown of people at Grand National Roadster Show. I promise you. And NASCAR can make excuses if they want, but if it would have been something people wanted to go and do, they would have went and done it.
Yep.
And I mean, I didn't really, I've just seen bits and pieces of it. I didn't really watch the race, but from what I've seen, it didn't look like there was that many people there. If it would have been a football game, there'd have been people there. I promise.
Yeah, there's a football game coming up Sunday night, I believe, and I bet you that place is packed, and it's in Los Angeles.
Yeah. Oh, there's a football game coming up. John's the one telling us about football.
I'm like, okay, I guess. All right.
Who's playing in that game? John, do you know?
Well, I know the Rams are because I hate the Rams, and they have home field advantage, and I believe they're playing the Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah. Who's the quarterback for the Bengals?
Joe Burrow.
I'm asking John. Be quiet.
Jeez. Wow. The last 8 minutes
Who's the
get
quarterback
into
for the
the
Rams?
hatred.
Don't know.
I have no clue.
He played at Georgia.
Joe Burrow is.
That's nice for him.
Let's see here. He played at Georgia. Yeah. Is he a bull?
His name is Stanford something or other.
Yeah, Matthew Stafford.
Oh, can they hear me?
Oh wait, he's
Yes.
Who is it? Wait, what did you just say, Will?
Isn't it Matthew Stafford?
Didn't he go to University of Michigan?
Oh, maybe he did. Maybe
I
I'm
think
all
he
wrong.
was. I think he was U of M quarterback back
Who's Georgia?
quite a while ago.
I may be
The studio
wrong.
audience here saying thinks it was Georgia, but
I'm pretty sure it's Georgia.
Oh no, wait. No, I'm sorry. He played for the Lions. Stafford played for the Lions.
Yeah, he played for
That's
the
what I
Lions.
was thinking of.
Yeah. Yeah.
Again, sports. Me. Don't expect me to know my stuff.
you kind of knew more history trivia than I did there. Jeez. I couldn't, I was trying to think of the Rams quarterback from when they were in St. Louis, but
Brandy knew all more than all y'all.
yeah, the female in the studio audience knew more about football than all of us.
I just want to know when they're going to walk like an Egyptian.
Ooh.
I'm just thinking, ooh, I probably shouldn't say this. I'm going to get slapped in the head, but Susanna Hoffs was always attractive back then.
The Bengals are a good group. That's a good.
Their little Farrah Fawcett hairdo. Oh wait, no.
I guess she was a little bit Farrah Fawcett-ish. And then, who knows? Well, we just lost every one of our listeners. Actually, no, we didn't.
No.
We still have people viewing.
John's got a pretty good question there. Prediction of attendance of vehicles for the grade 8 this year with a 2-year buildup.
8.
I'll be honest. I'm
gonna go with 8.
John. Huh? Yeah, you go with 8.
8.
I'm going
Oh,
8.
they-
They'll have 8.
I haven't been hearing a lot of buzz about Detroit. I know of one that's supposedly going to be there, but that's it. I'm sure there'll be some cars show up, but it from what I can hear, there's not a lot of talk about a bunch of new cars debuting in Detroit. So, I mean, there was a pretty strong 12 at Grand National, which was really cool. And I'm sure there's always 2 or 3 that show up, kind of fly under the radar. Some guys you've never heard of always show up with something, just like the Ranweilers did a couple years ago and won it all. So, there'll be something big show up. I haven't been hearing a lot. Normally there's a lot of talk of people going. So,
Are you going?
no. I was going to go to see the Hirahata Merc because I knew it was going to be there. And come to find out, a friend of mine named Dave Shutton, who I need to get on the podcast.
Yeah, we got to get Dave on here.
Yep, who works for Gallopin. They're the ones that bought the Hero How to Merc. So
Oh, right.
it showed up at Grand National. So I got to see it. I got to touch it. Dave walked me around it. So no, that was my reason for going to Detroit. Now I have no reason to go to Detroit. So no, I am not going.
There you go.
I have not lost nothing in Detroit.
Yeah.
All right, we got to go. Hours up.
That's
Done.
Yeah, say we
That was
just
the
hit that
big news.
60 minutes. So the podcast rules say we've got to leave.
My eyeballs tell me I need to go to bed.
The podcast gods have spoken.
Yeah, I'm about out of wine. So
See you next week, John.
Have some cheese with that wine.
I guess that's a promise that Will's going to be here next week.
No, I
Maybe
was
Derek,
talking-
maybe Sean, maybe
I
all
was-
of us, maybe an interview. I've got
I
a
was-
couple pending interviews.
I
but-
was talking about our John Leach, our commenter tonight. He's going to be in Tulsa next weekend. So,
So that's the next appearance of Dirty Martini. If you didn't tuned in late, Daryl Starbird, Tulsa, Oklahoma next weekend.
that's it. That's it.
Go out. Will charges $2 an autograph for no driving gloves autographs. So
Aw, that's so sweet of him.
yes, yeah. Go there. He'll pay you $2 and he'll give you his autograph.
There you go. That works.
He actually signs his autograph on a $2 bill and gives it to you.
Yeah, there you go. John knows me pretty well. I'm going to offer you a beer.
Get your core signed by Will.
No cores.
Yeah, he's a natty.
Well,
kind of guy.
we're west of Texas. You got to have cores.
It's blue.
Oh, Milwaukee's best light.
Oh, Milwaukee's
You know, I bought a 6-pack of Budweiser Zero, and I'm not a huge beer fan. I don't really enjoy the taste, but I bought this thing, and I'm about 3 bottles or 4 bottles into it, and I go, "Why the hell did I buy fake beer when I don't even like beer, and I'm getting no reward out of it?"
Exactly. I was wondering that myself.
That's just dumb.
Why would you do that?
Will
Hey,
just
you know a
answered the
good way to
question.
avoid all of that? Don't drink beer.
Beer's good.
I got this.
You know what's
uh,
better?
Beer's
what am I
good.
drinking?
You know what's
19
better?
Crimes?
Scotch.
I'm drinking this 19 Crimes red blend. If 19 Crimes would like to sponsor the podcast, that would be perfectly good. You get Snoop.
Neat.
Hashtag Snoop Dogg.
Miller
Yeah.
Lite.
Hashtag
Miller
Snoop
Lite is
Dogg,
a
and
sponsor.
we can get on here. We can talk to Snoop about some of his lowriders and Martha Stewart and whatever. Actually, if Snoop wants to come on the show, we'll talk to him about whatever Snoop wants to. And you know me, I'm not a big one to talk about weed, but if Snoop wants to talk about weed, we'll talk about agricultural
But
products.
you got to be smoking it while you're talking about it.
We can have it lit.
We can figure something out.
All right, cool.
Don't you smoke
Medical
it?
purposes. Medical purposes.
All right, John, shut it down. I'm ready to go.
Okay. We're out of here, everybody. Join us next week. We'll see what's coming up. I can't even give you a preview.
Adios.
Later, all.